In this video, we're going to learn how to make a box plot, which is a visual version of the quartiles. So our vocabulary for today, a box plot, which is also sometimes called a box and whisker plot, hence the lovely little image on the screen, is a visual display of the 5-number summary. And the 5-number summary is the minimum, the lower quartile, the median, the upper quartile, and the maximum of a set of numbers. And those numbers can be the same as each other sometimes. All right, so first we're going to work together to find the 5-number summary of this data set, and then we're going to turn it into a box plot. So start by copying down these numbers. I've given them to you already in order this time. And you're going to find as many of these 5 numbers as you can. So pause the video and see if you can figure out what the minimum, median, maximum are, and what the lower quartile or Q1 and the upper quartile are. You can check your notes from last video if you're not sure. Okay, so right away you can see that the minimum is 0 because that's the lowest number, and the maximum is 18 because that's the highest number. And since there are 18 numbers, then I know that in between 9 and 10 is going to be my median. So in between 7 and 7, which happens to be 7. And then quartile 1, we're just finding the median of that lower set. Since there's 9 numbers, it's going to be the 5th one in, with 4 in on each side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. So quartile 1 is 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. Quartile 3 is 13. So now we need to draw out our box plot. So you'll notice underneath that we've got a scale set up from 0. I drew it all the way out to 20, but it really doesn't need to be any bigger than 18. So go ahead and carefully set that scale up on your graph as well, making sure to evenly space those numbers. You use the blue lines in your notebook for the graph. And then once you have that done, we're gonna draw a vertical line at each of the numbers in the 5-number summary above the graph. So we're gonna do a line above the 0. We're gonna do a line above the 4. We're gonna do a line above the 7, the 13, and the 18. And then we connect the quartile 1 and the quartile 3 to make a box. So the 4 and the 13 get connected because that's my box. And then we draw a line out to the maximum and a line out to the minimum. Those are the whiskers. And then the median is like the belt in the middle of the box. So go ahead and label on the box plot what each of those lines represents. So we've got the minimum down here, Q1 here, the median here, Q3 here, and the maximum up here. You don't need to do that on every box plot, but I want you to have it down once in your notes so that if you forget, you can look back. All right, so now we're going to practice reading a box plot. So I do want you to pause and copy down this box plot first, making sure that your scale is even, and then drawing in the box plot as accurately as you can. I know that the numbers aren't exact. That's kind of the point. We're going to be estimating, but get it as good as you can. And then I want you to estimate the 5-number summary. So write down what you think those 5 numbers are, And then see if you can calculate the IQR and the range from that. So pause now, copy down the box plot, and write down your 5-number summary and the IQR and the range. Don't be afraid to check your notes from last video if you've forgotten what the IQR is. All right, so for our estimates, the minimum, to me, this says a scale of 5, so that looks like it's probably at about a 12. Q1 is maybe at a 22. I'm just drawing in these lines to kind of help me see it. The median is maybe at a 31. The upper quartile looks like it's right about at 45. And then the maximum, I'd say, is right about at 50. If your numbers were off by 1 or so from mine, that's fine. And then the IQR. So you remember that that is Q3 minus Q1. So we're going to do 45 minus 22. This is for the IQR. And that would give us 23 for the IQR. And then for the range, that's the difference between the minimum and the maximum. So we're going to do 50 minus 12, which will give us 38. So the range is 38. All right, so now we have a practice problem. You're going to make another box plot for this data. Don't be afraid to rewatch the video, look back at your notes to remember what the steps are. And pay attention because it's not in order.